Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Jolene with the Gateway Region YMCA, and I'm here today with my friend John. And we are at the Ed Jones Y today, bringing you an hour of intermediate yoga flow. So I would just encourage you to find a quiet place, maybe dim your lights a little, get yourself a mat if you have one, otherwise a soft surface like a rug or even a towel works just as well. If you have blocks, yoga blocks, or any types of pillows or anything like that that you want to have handy for some of the postures, you may feel like you want to grab those at some point. So I'll just be cueing you along, giving you opportunities for some, modifications and some progressions either way. And I think we'll have a really good class together today. Our focus is going to be, with many yoga classes, strength, flexibility, endurance. We're going to be working on some mindfulness for sure today. In working with personal training clients, I often see a lot of postural deviations. And so some of what I'm going to be cueing today will have to do with our posture. And there's a lot of reasons why people have these deviations. It could be from something from birth. It could be an injury. It could be just improper movement or muscle imbalance. So there's just tons of ways that limits our movement, and it's because of those misalignments. And some of those we can resolve. So as we go through today, it'll help us to be more mindful of what's happening internally as we move through our posture today. So I'll be cueing you through that. We are going to start in a standing position today. So I want you to find yourself on your mat with your hips about hips distance apart, your legs about hips distance apart, with your toes pointing forward. And just to begin, just take a moment to internally think about where your feet are on your mat. Just take some time there. Sometimes it helps just to start to rotate your hips in a circle and feel your weight shift from the left to the right as you move and where that weight is in your feet. And then go the other way. Synchronize your breath here, but take your mind to your feet, just being grounded in your feet. And then when you find your center, I just want you to go back and forth to the balls of the feet and to the heels a little bit. So I'm just moving my hips forward and back a few times. And then when I come to center, I want to concentrate on the weight in my body going to all four corners of my feet. Next up, we're just going to work our way up to our knees. We want soft knees. We don't want to straighten them all together or hyperextend them for sure. So most people will stand with a soft knee, but some of us lock our knees or hyperextend. So just a soft knee there if you need to do that. And next we're going to think about our torso, our midsection. And here's where the posterior deviations can happen. So what I'm going to have to do is make a triangle with your hands. So point your fingers touching each other and then your thumbs. So just making a little triangle with your hand, and then I want you to put your hands on your abdomen with your belly button in the middle, about in the middle of that. So your fingertips are at your pubic bone, and then your thumbs are right above your belly button. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to start some pelvic tilts. So we just want to tip our pelvis forward anteriorly, and then back a couple times. And I want you to think about what's happening with that triangle, right? If you would imagine, and I'm going to go sideways here. John, you can still sit face forward. But just imagine if you had water in that triangle. As you press your tailbone back, the water in that triangle would fall to the floor. And as you come forward, and if you go into full flexion with the hips forward, the water in the triangle is going to go into your abdomen or into your rib cage. So we want to come to a neutral spine, which is different than a natural spine, right? Natural is how we normally stand. Neutral is where we're working toward. So on your last time when you bring your hips forward, bring them only halfway and think about your triangle being in a place where if there were water in that triangle, the water would stay right where it's at. So that is your neutral spine position. And some of you might feel this is already kind of a more challenging position to be in because it's not your natural spine, but it is your neutral spine. From here, we're just going to take our hands down to our side. I'm going to shake out your wrists a little bit. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Okay? I'm bringing you into mountain posture. So we're going to turn our palms forward from here. We're going to align the rest of our cervical spine and neck and shoulders so that our chin is parallel to the floor. So in this position, you should feel strong. Your core is strong, your feet are connected to the floor, your fingertips are pushing downward, but not with a lot of energy, like you don't feel strain in your shoulders. Your shoulders are relaxed down, but you're pushing your energy through your fingertips here. And here, I want you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable to do so, and just begin to follow your breathing. You're inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And as you do, I want you to think about where you feel the rise and fall of your breath within you on your inhale and exhale. Let's do 2 more deep breaths here. From here, if you want to open your eyes, you can, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to place my hands on my rib cage, along my rib cage. So my fingers are kind of fanning my rib cage here. And from here, you can close your eyes again. And on our inhale, I want you to feel the expansion of your rib cage on the inhale. And on your exhale, feel how the rib cage shrinks, your fingertips come together. So do a couple deep diaphragmatic breaths like that. And just notice where your breath is being carried in through your nostrils and through your whole torso now. Make those breaths a little longer. Let's try to inhale for 4 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, and pause. Again, on your own now. Inhale for 4 seconds. Pause at the top and exhale for 4 seconds. And pause at the bottom. Let's do 2 more rounds of breathing. Try to breathe into the back, into that diaphragm. It runs along your ribs and attaches to your spine. So you do feel a little bit of your breath going back towards your spine as you inhale. Let's do 1 more together. Inhale. Pause at the top and exhale. Pause at the bottom. Good. Let's go ahead and open our eyes here. Let's shake out our arms if that put any tension in your shoulders like it did mine. Fingertips are going to go back down towards the floor, back to your mountain. Check your neutral spine again. Make sure that didn't shift during all of the other things we were focusing on. And we're going to begin here with our flow now. So on our inhale, we're going to reach our arms skyward. Our palms are together. We can look up here to stretch our neck. Turn the palms down, and we can look downward here to stretch the back of the neck. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Now, while you're doing this, try to keep that neutral spine. So don't do a back bend here quite yet. We're trying to focus on maintaining that neutral spine, even though our arms are moving. Synchronize your breath and your movement. Your inhales all the way to the top. Turn your palms, exhale, your fingertips go all the way down. The bottom of your breath is when you find your legs. 1 more time, inhale up and exhale down. This time on our inhale, we're going to bend our knees, swoop our arms in front, and inhale all the way to the top. So we're pressing our hips back. Turn your palms, just bring your hands to your side. We'll do that for a couple times. Inhale, get a little deeper with the hips. Make sure the hips are behind you. Turn your palms, exhale down. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, try to get a little deeper with your hips. I'm going to turn sideways just so that you can see my hips are going back behind me. I'm pressing the tailbone back to the wall. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Good. Let's exhale our hands to our heart center. Clasp our hands together. We're going to do some wrist circles here. So without shaking your whole body or your hips, again, in that neutral spine should help you to keep your body from moving around. We're not moving from the shoulders. You're bringing your elbows together. Just move the wrists only in a figure 8. Let's do that for 2 more breaths. Good. On our next inhale, take your hands to the heart center here. We're going to press the palms forward if you're able to. If not, just bring your hands apart, palms out, just to rotate the shoulders the same direction we are. And then inhale, let's lift the hands up overhead. Here, if you want to press your hips forward and get into a little back extension, it's great. And then exhale your hands back down and into prayer. Clasp your hands the other way, so the opposite pinky goes in front. So here's a little mind game for us today. We're going to reverse our figure 8 to go the other direction. Again, try not to move your hips, your shoulders, or your arms, just working through those wrists today. Great job. On our next inhale, take our hands to our heart center. Again, this time we're gonna press forward, but we're gonna bend our knees, tuck our chin, and round our upper back into a standing cat posture. Our ears are between our arms here. On our inhale, we're gonna swoop upward. Again, do a little back extension if you wish. And then exhale your hands all the way down along your sides. From here, we're gonna go into a standing twist. So your left hand is gonna reach to your right hip, and your right arm is gonna reach behind with the palm facing the back. We're gonna keep our hip bones forward, and on our exhale, we're just gonna twist and look over our right shoulder. So we're stretching our eyes as far as we can around our shoulder, and we're keeping our shoulder as far away from our chin as possible. Again, the hips don't move with us. Try to keep your hip bones forward. On your inhale, we're going to swoop the hands down towards the floor and then skyward and go the other way. So your right hand goes to your left hip, the opposite arm wraps around, and you're looking over your shoulder. Again, hips forward, reach those eyes as far as you can around your shoulder, and exhale one more time, bring the shoulder away from the chin. On your next inhale, join me. Inhale all the way up. Let's do one more each side. Exhale down the other side and turn. You're kind of looking downward at the floor there just to get a stretch in the neck. Inhale up. Exhale. Twist the other way and turn. And inhale up. From here, let's go to forward fold. So we're going to take our first forward fold down towards the floor. If you have back issues, best to keep your hands either on your thighs or on your shins. You can use a block here to reach down towards the block if you want to support up for your back. If not, and you don't need it, you can just take your hands straight down to the floor and let the hands dangle if you can't already reach. And then from here, if you're able to do an inversion, you can take your crown of your head to the floor, and you can dangle your hands down towards the floor. So we're stretching open the upper back, and I'm just going to have you start to sway your hips to the left and right. So this is a really freeing stretch. And I want you to just imagine yourself hanging, your piece of cloth hanging on a clothesline here. So everything is very loose and just dangling down towards the floor. And you're breathing here. So you're inhaling and exhaling as your fingers, hopefully your body's allowing your fingers to come a little closer to the floor. But like I said, if not, using your block here is a modification for that. Then I'm going to have you exhale and go straight down to the floor. If you'd like to take the crown of the head down, look past your knees. Otherwise, you can keep your chin up to keep your head above your heart. On your next inhale, you're going to bend your knees, look up towards the screen, press through your feet, and inhale all the way up. And then exhale your hands down along your sides. Good. Inhale again. Exhale, forward fold. Come up to half lift this time. Hands go to your shins or your thighs. Your back is flat. You're looking straight down. Again, we're looking for that neutral spine. So see if you can find that here. Shoulders are back from your ears. On your next exhale, exhale the hands to forward fold. Bend your knees, look forward, push through your feet, come all the way up. Exhale, take your left hand to your right hip, look over your shoulder. Inhale, back up, go the other way on your exhale. Inhale, back up. Exhale, the forward fold. Now here we're going to spend some more time down in forward fold again. I want you to go ahead and bend your right knee. Place your left hand onto it, and then I want you to turn and reach up towards the ceiling. Your palm is looking up towards your gaze. You can look up or look down here. Exhale back to the floor, switch sides. So bend the opposite knee, lift the opposite hand. Exhale down, do it again one more time. Inhale as you lift, exhale as you lower, one more time. Inhale as you lift, and exhale as you lower. Good. From here, bend your knees, look up at me, inhale all the way up. We're gonna circle our arms back and around, go to chair posture. So if you know where that's at, our hips are back. Again, I'll just turn sideways. So you can see my knees are not over my toes, my hips are back. Again, we can easily get this anterior, posterior pelvis tilt. So what we want to do is bring our pelvis forward to take that rounding out of our low back if possible. So this is our chair posture. One way to progress this would be to lift your hands up towards your ears and turn your fingertips towards one another. On our next inhale, we're going to swoop the arms down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to forward fold. Bend your knees, look at me. Inhale up. Arms circle back and around to chair. Good. Now we're going to add a balance component to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to slowly peel up our right foot off of the mat. So I'm on the ball of my foot on my right side now. And then I'm going to inhale, swoop my arms back just like I did before. Lift the knee, point the toe downward, and then exhale, bring that foot back to the floor. Shift your weight the other way. Inhale. And you're kind of peeling that foot up and off the mat. I'm going to move this clock so you can see my feet. There you go. Inhale, peel the foot off the floor. Exhale, go, ball the foot, heel down. So it's very methodical. Peel the heel off first, lift the toe last, come to the top, exhale down. Good. We're going to add one more thing to this. I'll give you a modification first. Inhale, lift. On your exhale, I want you to cross that foot, that right foot over the left, and then sit back into chair, okay? And then inhale, lift the leg back up, foot to the floor, exhale, chair. Let's shift your weight to the other side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, put the foot to the floor, cross at the ankles, sit back. Inhale, lift, and exhale, chair. Keep going just like that. If you want to progress it, we're going to inhale, lift. And we're going to cross above the knee. Exhale, sit back in your chair. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Other side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do one more each side. Inhale. Exhale. On your exhale, try to push your hips back further. Just go a little deeper. Inhale, lift. You see I touch my toe down there. That's okay. Exhale. Go the other side one more time. Inhale and exhale. Inhale up. Exhale to chair. Good. Let's go ahead and inhale up. Come to mountain. So again, looking for that not natural spine, but neutral spine right where we started. Good job, everybody. From here, we're going to go ahead and go into our first standing pose of Warrior 2. So I'm going to turn to my right. And I'm going to bend my front knee, the back foot. The toes are going straight ahead. The foot on the right the toes are pointing towards the edge of the mat. Next thing I want to check again is your spine. Do you have neutral or do you have natural? So neutral, you may need to tuck in more. You might be fine right where you're at. So you're just trying to get that same feeling that we had at the beginning in our mountain in a different posture. So we're taking our hands out directly from our shoulders if possible. Fingertips are down. We're going to do some shoulder rotations here. So you're going to turn your palms up and it's back as far as you can, and then bring them the other way as far as you can. So just rotating through those shoulders on your inhale and exhale, looking directly over that right arm. Good stretch for the neck. There's lots going on here. Some other things that you want to remember, one more exhale here, go back to Warrior 2 now, is that your knee does not collapse inward on that right side towards your big toe. So really keeping the knee in alignment with your toes, with the knee not extending over the toes. From here, we're going to go into triangle. So we're going to straighten the front knee, reach forward as far as you can, and then we're going to tip down. Now here's where your block might come in handy. You can place a block next to your foot here if you can't quite reach the floor at any level, okay? But what we're looking for here, and you can also place it just on your ankle or on your shin. But what we're looking for here is a rotation through your spine. You can look upward or downward, depending on how it feels in your neck. But we're looking for that rotation of the spine, and you're trying to get your chest to face me as much as you can, with your arms straight up from your shoulder joint as best you can. Let's take 3 breaths here. As you exhale, try to get a little better into the posture. On your next inhale, we're going to reverse our triangle. So it's going to take some core strength. Pull the belly button into the spine. Keep your ribs long and start rotating back into reverse triangle. So again, this is not a back bend, it is a side opener. So we're trying to get a long stretch between the ribs and the hip bone on your right side. So reaching down the back leg without putting a lot of pressure there, but just reaching downward. Get you a nice stretch in your hamstring on your right side, and a good side opener through that whole right side. From here, turn your palm so your hand's going towards the ceiling on your top arm, and we're going to push the energy down. As we do, we're picking up the energy with the back hand with the palm up, and we're going back to that triangle. See if you can get a little lower. Again, inhale, start to move. Exhale right there, all the way down. Follow your breath here. Inhale. Exhale as far as you can reach. You may want to bring that arm over your head even. Inhale. Start to exhale halfway. That's the bottom of your exhale. Turn your palm, push the energy, bring it up behind you. Maybe even look at it for a little bit of balance. And come into a side bend on the opposite side. Good, let's do one more each direction. On this last time, we're going to exhale all the way with windmill arms, turn our hips down towards the floor and come into a low lunge. So we're in low lunge here. And we can use our block here if we need it, if we can't reach the floor. But I'd like you to try to keep your knees behind your toes on the front foot, and the back foot, the top of the foot is down towards the floor. If it is more comfortable to ball the foot, you can do that as well. But the idea here is to let your hips relax towards the floor as much as you can. So you can choose to stay here, or if you want to compress this with me, you can come up with your hands skyward, lifting your chest away from that front thigh so that everything in your body with gravity is coming straight down to open the hips. You can look up or forward here. Then we're going to take the hands behind, clasp them behind us, and then we're going to straighten the elbows, lift the chest skyward, squeeze the shoulder blades, look upward for a little bit of a back extension. Go ahead and release, take the hands to heart center. Now we're going to take our right arm out, our left above, and make a big X. We're going to eagle arms. If you know how to get there, go ahead and go. But I'll explain it here. So your right arm's going to reach out, your left is over, and then you're going to bring the back of the forearms together all the way until your palms come together, or the back of the hands. Now make sure you're lifting your elbows, if you can, parallel to the floor with the shoulders roll back and down. And then we're going to do a twist here. So we're going to take the elbows to the outside of that front knee, press the arms into the leg and the leg into the arms there, and turn and look over that right shoulder. Again, stretch your eyes as far as you can. Don't hold your breath, make sure you're breathing. Again, go ahead and release. We're going to swoop those arms skyward. Exhale then to the floor here. We're going to walk our hands back. Again, if you have 2 blocks, it works really good if you're not reaching the floor to kind of walk your blocks back. But we're going to come back with the hips. We're not going to bring the hips to the floor, but we're going to focus on the tailbone going straight behind us. We're lifting the top foot off the floor and bringing the toes towards the shin in a dorsiflexion. Try to keep the hip bones forward here. So we're looking for length. Inhale, come forward and lift. Exhale, begin to exhale here. Bring it all the way back. Again, bring that toe with you towards your shin. Press the tailbone back. Inhale as you come forward. Go ahead and lift. Let the hips sink a little lower. See if you let your body open a little bit here. And walk it back again. One more time forward. Bring it up. Inhale up. This time we're going to just take our hands to our heart center. From here, fingertips to the floor or your blocks. We're going to walk that foot out to the outside of the mat so that you're as far out as you can be towards the edge of the mat on that side. From here, we're going to plant your left hand to the outside of the other side of the mat. We're going to lift that back foot up off the floor, if you're able to, and roll out to the pinky side of the front foot. So we're really getting a good hip opener here. You can choose to stay right here. You can choose to go to child's pose, or you can choose to take that right hand out, circle it all the way back on your exhale. See if you can find your foot. If not, just reach toward it and draw that heel toward your sits bones. Roll the right shoulder back. Look as far as you can. See if you can see the back of the room. Keep breathing. And release. Bring the hand back to the floor. Come in with the foot. Come up onto the back foot into high lunge. We're going to try to do a strength move here where you're just taking the fingertips up. Squeeze your thigh bones together. Squeeze your glute on your left side. You can either look up or straight ahead. Exhale the hands back down to the floor. Walk your hands back to center. From here, we're going to come up into a half lift with our legs wide, toes are forward. Exhale back to forward fold. Let's try another twist here. Take your left hand to the center of the mat, lift your right skyward, and see if you can turn and look up toward your hands. Or again, if that bothers your neck, you can look straight down. Again, you're looking for your shoulder, your arm to come straight up from your shoulder joint. There's tension in your fingers. And exhale down. Let's go the other way. Bring the other hand center. Inhale, and then exhale to reach the top of the movement. And exhale down. Now I want you to turn your hands so your fingertips are behind you. We'll just do a little stretching for your wrist here and your fingers. I just want you to roll the palms of your hands off the mat up to your fingertips and roll it back down. You may feel some shifting, in the weight of the feet, that's fine, or your hips moving back. It's just a way to stretch your fingertips, your fingers, your wrists. One more time each way. Pick them up and exhale lower. Good. From here, turn your fingertips back forward. Let's go back to that half lift here. And we're going to just try to lift it straight up to neutral spine once again. All right, ready to do that on the other side? Let's go ahead and turn now your left foot towards the side of the mat. So you shouldn't have to adjust your feet much. If you were in a pretty comfortable wide stance there, all you needed to do was open that left hip. And now your toes facing the edge of the mat. That's right where we want you. And if you feel like you need more, go ahead and scoot that back foot back more. But you should line up just where you like it, where it feels pretty comfortable. From here, again, we're going to go to warrior two. So arms are reaching out. So we're just going to repeat on the other side. Again, let's roll those shoulders forward and back. Inhale, exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Good, and then come back to your warrior two. Something else I like to do in warrior two is just take your hands behind you, clasp them if you can, roll the shoulders back, try to keep your chest still forward, and keep your gaze looking off to your left. And when you get in this position where your shoulders are really pushed back and down, release your hands and bring them up. So that's the position we're looking for the hands, if you can get there. All right, from here we're going to go to that reverse triangle again. So we're going to straighten the front leg. We're going to reach forward and we're going to reverse it back. So reach down the leg with that right hand, your left is over your face. We're going to try that flow again, but first we're going to get into our first triangle. So from here, we're going to turn our left palm upward, begin to move in a wheel fashion, and reach down to the floor, looking down at your hand. Inhale. Halfway, you exhale, turning the palms each time. See if you can get a little deeper here. Maybe you want to try to bring that arm a little longer and open up your ribs there. Be mindful that you're breathing, synchronizing the movement and the breath. One more time each way. And this time, windmill arms to the bottom into that high lunge, which is going to change over into a low lunge. So you're dropping your knee to the floor here. I like to flip my back foot under, so the top of my foot is there. Again, you shouldn't have to adjust your feet much. If you do, what might happen is your foot needs to come more forward or more back on that front leg. The goal here is to have this back leg at an angle to the floor. So not to be too much right on the kneecap. You're more on the fleshy part of the leg right above the kneecap there. From here, let's inhale our arms skyward. Again, the weight is going straight down through the hips. Try to relax your hips and let that weight just empty out towards the floor. And then take the hands behind you, clasp them if you're able to again, and then go into a little extension here, looking up. Release the hands, bring them to prayer, look forward. Take your left hand out, palm down, going to eagle. Right goes above the elbow, so it's real tight there. Bring your forearms together, wrap as far as you can, either to the back side of the hands or to the palms together. Inhale again as you exhale. Take the arms to the outside of that front leg and look over your shoulder. Again, stretch those eyes as far as you can behind you. Can you see your back foot? It's not so much the twist, maybe just the eyes need to stretch. Feeling a good stretch in the deltoids here and through the upper back and cervical spine area. Let's go ahead and release. Come forward. Inhale back to the sky. Look up. Exhale, hands to the floor, hands along your side. From here, we're going to go back into that hamstring stretch. So we're just walking our hands back. Again, you can use your blocks. Take your toe toward your shin. Hip bones are forward. Again, we're not sitting down on that back foot. We just want to stretch the tailbone back behind us. Lift our ribs and the crown of the head reaching forward here. Inhale, come forward. You can take it all the way up if you'd like. Just to see if you can let those hips relax any further to the floor. Take the fingertips down, walk it back. Exhale as you do. Remember, our breath, our exhalation can really keep us moving a little deeper in our stretch if we synchronize our movement and our breath together. So when I exhale here, I'm going to keep exhaling and moving until both reach the bottom. Let's do one more time. Inhale. And begin to exhale. Exhale all the way through it. All the way, bring the toe towards the shin there. And bring it back up. Good. We're going to again widen that foot towards the edge of the mat. You want to make sure your knee and your foot or your toes are still in good alignment. You can roll out to the pinky side of the foot now if you'd like. Just make sure you're not rolling into a real awkward ankle stretch there. You really want to still keep your knee in line with your big toe. So it's going to require a little bit more opening of the hip. It might be advantageous for you to just press a little out to the inner thigh of that leg and exhale, just to see if you can get the line up there. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and take our left hand out, reach it back as far as we can. Now we can choose to stay here in that twist, or we can reach for that back foot. Again, if you are reaching towards the foot, you're going to twist as far as you can. Look over your shoulder, draw the shoulder blades together, shoulders back and down. Stretch your eyes as far as you can around. John's doing a great modification of that. And release. Go ahead and bring it back. Good, let's go ahead and heel toe back in. We're going to come up into our strong high lunge. So reposition. You're going to be on the ball of the foot here. You're going to squeeze the pelvic floor, hold the belly button into the spine, into that neutral spine, and lift. So there's a lot of strength involved here. Your thigh bones are pushing toward each other. They're active. The glute on the right side is active. But otherwise, my upper body is very relaxed, but I do have tension in my fingertips. Be sure your shoulders don't roll up. You're not reaching with your shoulders or reaching with your fingertips. Go ahead and exhale all the way back down. Go ahead and walk it in. Toes forward. Come into a half lift. Hands can go to your thighs. You're looking straight down, neutral spine. So try to find that neutral spine again. Exhale back down. From here, let's lift back up to half lift. And we're gonna exhale, lift all the way up. Good. Let's heel toe in all the way. And find our mountain. Start with your feet. Think about where you started. Think about your pelvic tilt. Is it neutral? Energy into your fingertips, shoulders roll back and down, chin level with the floor. Good. Inhale here again. We're going to do another chair. So exhale back and around. Feel how great now you're able to move compared to where we started. A lot of times I like to go back to a posture near the end of class just to see how much better we can move through the posture. This is a strength and balance posture, so do what you can with it. We'll do one more inhale to give our quads a rest and exhale back down. From here, we're going to balance on our toes. But when you do, we don't want to bring our chest down towards the floor. So for some of us, modification is just to lift the heels and alternate them left and right with your breath, okay? So that is a great start. For somebody that wants to progress, you go up above both balls of the feet, balance without tipping. Again, you have to do the imprint with your belly button to your spine. Try to keep your spine neutral. Press the hips back or the heels back down. Let's inhale. That was just our warm up. We're gonna do it a couple times. Exhale back to chair. I like to bring my hands to prayer. Good. Staying up. Keep the knees behind the toes. Bring it back. Inhale up. Exhale to chair. One more time. Then add on to this. Again, you can always just go back to chair or mountain. Bring the heels down. From here, we're going to go back up onto the toes. We're going to go down into toe stand if you're able to. Okay, so there's a lot of flexion in the knees, so that might not be for everybody. And then push through the pelvic floor, come back to your heels, inhale up, and exhale to chair. Let's try that one more time. Bring the hands to prayer. Up on the balls of the feet, lower down. Inhale, exhale, push, stay on the balls of the feet, then lower. Inhale up, and exhale, mountain. Great job. All right, let's go ahead and go down the floor. You ready to do that, John? Yeah. Sounds good to me. All right, let's go to all fours, okay? So we're going to come down to all fours. And we're going to plant our hands, what I call starfish. So all 5 fingers spread wide. It gives you a stronger base of support when you have wide fingers, when you're on your hands in yoga. From here, we're going to stack our shoulders over our wrists, our knees, under our hips, tops the feet, again, downward to stretch the top of the foot and shin, or you can go to the balls of the feet if that's more comfortable. But I would challenge you to try to get used to getting the tops of the feet down, stretch your ankles in a different way than they're used to moving. But I understand if that's not comfortable. From here, we're going to go into cat, but we're not going to use the upper back. So really, it's just going to be a pelvic tilt. So we're going to focus on that again. So inhale before you start, and exhale. Bring your hip bones towards your ribs without rounding your back. And then go the other way without rounding your back. So we're taking the scapula out of this movement, okay? So it's just the pelvic tilt. And I want you to inhale as you lift. Press the tailbone as far to the ceiling as you can, and then exhale, bring it in and make the space between your hips and your ribs small. Do a couple more. Again, synchronize your breath. So there's your exhale, and there's your inhale. 2 more. And inhale. It's easy to bring your back into it because we're used to doing cat there, but try to keep your shoulders out of it, because it really engages your core more. Now go halfway back. Halfway back, that's neutral. That might be awkward for some of us. It's a little awkward to me. But again, we're talking about posture alignment here, working against those deviations that we get. And sometimes we have to be a little bit uncomfortable to regain that muscle balance there. From here, because you're in a good neutral spine, imprint your belly button to your spine. We're going to take our right foot back. We're going to lift it off the floor with the same neutral spine, imprint to the belly button, hip bones stay towards the floor, and then if you're able to reach the opposite arm, straight up from the shoulder joint, look straight down. On your next exhale, take the hand and the foot to the floor, and then inhale, lift. So I want you to begin to bring an inhale and exhale again, a flow to your movement. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, all nose breathing here. Last one. On your inhale, lift. Now keep breathing the same breathing sequence, in and out, but hold it. So we took the movement away, but try to make the breath just as equally balanced on the inhale and exhale. And then on your next exhale, bring the hand and the knee back to the mat. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Start with the pelvic tilts. We're going to go ahead and exhale, bring the hip bones towards the ribs. Inhale, lift. Again, not going for a cat and cow. We're just working the pelvis, rocking it back and forth. Some of us just need more flexibility there, right? We need to work on just being able to rock our pelvis to the full range of motion. Inhale one more time. Press the tailbone as high as you can, and then on your exhale, come halfway through that movement, and there's your neutral. All right? Go ahead and take that left foot back. Stay where you're at. Lift it off the floor, parallel, and then reach your arm forward when you're ready. Find your breath. A lot of time, here's where the fight and flight comes in. We get those short breaths. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. 2 more, and then we're going to hold it. But remember that breathing pattern. Hip bones are down. Don't open your hip. And up. Now, keep the same breathing pattern here and hold for 3 breaths. Hand down, knee down. So hopefully you did pretty well with that and didn't let your breath, start rapidly getting away from you in that challenging posture. From here, we're going to go into camel. So I like to double up my mat. So I have bony knees. And if you're on a hard surface, you definitely want to get a blanket or a towel. Put it under you. You're going to widen your knees the width of the mat. Tops of your feet are down. We're going to do it 2 times. First time is the modification for it. Second time is a little bit more advanced. Hands are going to go to small your back with that little triangle. So fingertips down, if you can rotate them, or backs to the hands is fine too. Be tall. Find that neutral spine. We don't want that extension in that low back to be exuberated, okay? It's not this with open here. It's closed, but again, not closed so your pelvic tilting. So it's that neutral spine we're looking for. Roll your shoulders back and down. Look straight ahead. Inhale, and as you exhale, press your hips forward. And then I want you to bring your chest towards the ceiling. If you're able, take your head back. Press the hips more forward. Press the hips forward and the chest up more. Keep breathing. To come out of it, your hips move first. Move the hips back. The head, neck will come back into alignment automatically. Okay, let's go down in child's pose here just to stretch that low back, kind of figure out how that went for us. Let's stay in your child's pose for a moment here, just to counter that back bend. We're gonna do a little bit more deeper stretching to counter, but for right now, just go to child's pose. Take an assessment of where you're at in your practice. Again, coming back up to the knees, extra padding if you need it. And again, like I said, do what you can. Try to either go back into the same posture or try to go a little further like I'm about to demonstrate for you. But do what you can, all right? Don't overdo it. But sometimes going into a posture a second time can be a little bit more liberating the second time. So what I'm going to do to go a little deeper is come to the balls of my feet. Everybody else, put your hands to your low back. Remember, your hips are going to move forward before you back bend. So you're not going to throw your head back first. You're going to move the hips forward. So what I'm going to do, though, I'm going to take my left hand and circle it up, back, and around. Look at it. And take my left foot up, back, and around. Everybody else, press your hips forward and your chest upward. So I'm getting a little bit deeper into my back stretch here. Again, on your exhales, you're reaching the hips more forward, pressing the chest more open. Your neck is coddled into your collarbone for protection. To come out of it for everybody, hands should be at your low back, one at a time. Again, bring your hips first. The last thing that rolls up and through is your neck and your gaze forward, okay? That's also to prevent just from getting dizzy or whatever. So again, maybe you went a little deeper. Good job. Maybe you didn't. That's okay. Don't judge yourself. We're gonna go back to child's pose here. So hips back to your heels. Your legs here can be as spread apart as you want. I'm about even with the outside of the mat. We're gonna do a little bit more of a working child's pose, so we're reaching those fingertips as far forward as we can. Then we're gonna walk our hands to our right, slowly. And on our exhale, we're gonna take that left hip, push it away from your hands. Look straight down at the floor of the mat here. Couple breaths. You should feel a nice stretch from the low back on that left side all the way up through the lats and shoulders. If you can, go ahead and go a little deeper by taking that left hand, stacking it on your right where you found it, and press the hips back further. Good. Go ahead and release. On your inhale, walk back to center. Again, moving slowly into our postures. We don't just swing back over, come back to a neutral or centered position. Walk your hands the other way as far as you can. Reach the fingers forward as far as you can. And then take your opposite hip, press it away from your hands. So it's dynamic tension from your hip to your fingertips. Keep breathing. Again, as an option to go deeper, you can take that right hand, place it on the left, and then press the hip back on your exhale. Just takes you a little deeper into that stretch. Gaze it straight down. Keep breathing those nice long breaths in and out through the nose as you hold. Go ahead and walk it back to center. Go ahead and walk your hands up under you, come up onto your knees. We're gonna go onto our back side now. We're gonna be on our sits bones. We'll do a little core strengthening here, and then it'll be about time for us to go. So from here, we want to plant our feet on the floor, toes forward. So again, you want that equal distribution of your weight in your feet, even though there's not a weight coming downward. Make sure all four corners are connected to your foot, to your feet, and then pull your core in, your belly button to your spine, making that great imprint. And then again, looking for neutral spine. So it'd be easy to maybe be opening your ribs and trying to hold yourself up. But I want you to tuck your ribs slightly, get a neutral spine here, and use that core strength to support your torso. Options are to stay right where you are. Okay? Next option is to lift one foot or both feet off the floor, toes pointed. Try to bring it to parallel. Option to bring the hands back is good. If you do, roll your shoulders up, back, and down. So this is your bow. Toes are pointed. And trying to bring the legs up to parallel if possible. Again, if you need a rest, tap a toe down, tap a toe down. Taking it to the next level, however, so stay there, choose to rest when you need to. We're gonna clasp our hands, keeping that neutral spine and imprint here. We're gonna row our boat. So there's an inhale and an exhale. Inhale and an exhale. So picture yourself out on the boat, on the lake, you're rowing away in your canoe. Inhale and exhale. You're trying to look over that shoulder. Inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale. And John's doing an excellent modification. And exhale. Go ahead and lower your feet down. Good job. We're gonna take our hands behind our legs. Again, sit up nice and tall. And we're gonna roll down, starting with the chin tuck all the way to the floor. So tuck your chin, round your shoulders, look at your navel. Try to roll down one vertebra at a time, all the way to the mat. Good. When you find yourself there, bring your feet underneath your knees, hands along your side, either palms down or palms up, whatever you prefer, a little distance from your hip. We're going to do those pelvic tilts again. And actually, let's go back to the neutral spine one more time. Making your triangle. Put it where we did at the beginning of class. On your exhale, you're going to tip your hips toward your ribs. And notice the space under your back goes away. And then tip it the other way. Hip bones towards thighs. Notice the water's going to tip out. That's not neutral. That's an overextension. And then go back the other way. We'll over-exaggerate it both ways. So inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. 1 more. Inhale, lift, make that space. On your exhale, go to neutral. There still should be space under there, but you rocked your hips back. So hip bones are now straight to the ceiling. Your water's in your triangle, and there's space under your low back, hopefully. If being on your back is a problem, I did want to mention this, you can always use a pillow or a towel under your head. So some people have a hard time laying directly on their back. So always for good alignment, make sure you have a pillow under your head so that your chin is parallel with the wall in front of you. Very good. From here, we're going to inhale. We're going to do that imprint with the low back and then pick up our hips this time in the bridge. Hands along your side. Make sure your shoulders are down away from your ears and you're pushing into that upper back right at the shoulder blades. Go ahead and exhale. Tip your hips toward your ribs and roll down. When you get to the bottom, tip the hip bones towards the thighs and go back up. So really over-exaggerating that hip or pelvic tilt and then trying to find neutral. Try to find neutral at the top, okay? Neutral. The water stays in your triangle. Roll it back down. Good. We're going to do one more stretch for the hips and call it a day. Let's take the left leg over the right above the knee if you're able to. If you can, at the ankle is okay. We're going to just roll our knees up toward our chest here. This is called reclining shoelace. Again, this might be deep enough for you, either here or here. So it's not like figure 4. We do have a closed space if you're able to get it. And then just bring your knees in. The reason being for shoelace, what we're going to do is if you're able, come up, try to reach the bottoms of your feet and lay back down and try to draw the feet away from each other. Lower legs parallel to the floor, and then draw the knees into the hip. Or excuse me, into the chest. Goes a little deeper there. 2 more breaths. And release. Now from here, keep your legs upward. Place your hands down along your side, palms down, and let your knees fall to your right and look to your left. Again, arms can be either palms down or palms up. I find it more restful to be with palms up. But we're allowing the weight of our legs to fall to the side so we get a good stretch in our left hip here. And we're coming down from here, so if you want to just close your eyes and just begin to enjoy those stretches. Take an inventory of where you're at. Try to relax those shoulders down. Let the weight of your arms and fingers be heavy. And on your inhale, let's go ahead and bring the knees back to the ceiling, unwind them, and cross the other direction. So again, position yourself in neutral spine. Make sure you're not wonky on your side. You're right back on the back of your head. Get that support if needed. And then crossing the legs. Exhale, bring the knees in. You're drawing the knees towards you. Option to grab the bottoms of the feet. Again, lifting the lower leg parallel with the floor or the ceiling, whichever way you want to look at that. And then exhale the knees in towards your chin. Get a little deeper stretch in that hip. 2 more breaths. Release. Hands go out to the side, either up or down. And we're going to let the knees, with your core strength, lower slowly to the floor. Look to your right, so you're looking the opposite direction of your knees here, allowing the weight of your left leg to kind of draw that right one down towards the floor so you get a good stretch to the hip and the low back on that side. Again, try to relax here. Let your shoulders be heavy, your fingertips limp. On your next inhale, go ahead and lift those knees. I wish you could stay there longer. It feels so good. But bring those knees back in. Let's just go to neutral here with your legs. So knees side by side, not crossed at all. Do little circles with the knees just to massage that low back. Again, you're pulling those knees into your chest here to really press that low back into the mat as the knees comes towards you. Go the other way a couple times. And release feet to the floor. Outstretch the legs, lift the arms up overhead. Nice long full body stretch. So reach not through your shoulders, but through your fingers. Stretch your toes down away from your hips. And then exhale, bring your hands down on your side or place them on your abdomen. If you're going to stay in corpse, I'd suggest that you take your toes to your shins and lift your heels. That kind of puts tension in your quads right now, but then when you exhale, it brings those hips open and allows the heels to get out from under you. And so the toes can roll to left and right down there. Your hips are open. Hopefully you're in a comfortable place on your back. If not, find the most comfortable place for you, okay? So some people, corpse is not comfortable, whether it's because they've got to use the towel under their head or whatever. But another option would be knees together, feet out in a relaxed way. So the weight of your legs is falling into each other. You're totally relaxing them there as an option. You can go ahead and sit up if you've had enough on your back. So just choose wherever you're the most comfortable at right now. Another option would be feet together into reclined butterfly. This would be better with props under your knees if you choose this, because it allows the legs to rest onto something rather than that pulling that we don't really want to happen right now, since we're going into our Savasana. So my most favorite one I'm going to go through with you today. It'll take a few extra minutes, but if you have it, it'll be well worth it. So as you're in your most comfortable position that you can be, I want you to close your eyes if you're good with that. Come into a quiet place where you can hear your breath on your inhales and exhales. I want you to begin mentally to follow your breath with your mind. So on your inhale, visualize your breath entering your nostrils, and on your exhale, visualize your breath leaving your nostrils and filling the space around you. I'll talk you through it a couple breaths. So we're inhaling through the nose. We're visualizing the breath entering the nose, the lungs, the diaphragm, the abdomen. As we exhale, we're visualizing that breath leaving those areas, passing back out the nose, and just kind of follow it as your breath goes through its space, through air there. Now on your next inhale, I'd like you to take your toes and push them into the arches of your feet as tightly as you can, creating tension in your feet and your lower legs. As you exhale, release those toes. Again, maybe move your feet around so that they totally fall back into a rest and hopefully a little bit more open in the hips. On your next inhale, take your knees up toward your quadriceps. So it's just like you're tightening your quads on purpose by drawing your kneecaps upward. And on your exhale, with your exhale, slowly release the knees and feel the legs get a little bit more heavy on the mat. And next, I'd like you to squeeze your sit bones together as tightly as you can, creating that tension in the hips and the low back. And on your exhale, release with your breath. So you're moving slowly out of that contraction to the bottom of your breath. And find your hips more heavy on the mat than they were before. On your next inhale, I'd like you to take your hands and make a tight fist. And on your exhale, open that fist slowly, let the fingertips relax and become limp. On your next inhale, take your shoulders to your ears. On your inhale, and then exhale down, let the shoulders fall, get a little bit more comfortable in your upper back, and exhale, let the back be more heavy onto the floor. On your next inhale, take your eyebrows up to the crown of your head, creating tension in your forehead, so those creases that we get when we're stressed. And on your exhale, lower the eyebrows and let those creases melt away. Next, I'd like you to make a tight jaw, as tight as you can. So clenching your jaw together, your teeth together on your inhale. And as you exhale, slowly let the jaw relax relax the teeth, separate, maybe the mouth open a little, relax the tongue in the mouth. And over the course of the next few breaths, just mentally go through your body, starting with your feet. And if any tension resurfaced, don't judge it. Just wiggle a little bit. Try to exhale that tension away. With every inhale, I want you to think of one positive thing you can say to yourself on your inhale. And on your exhale, I want you to let go of any negativity, stress, or anything else negative that you might be holding on to on your exhale. So for instance, we might inhale love, and we might exhale peace. We might inhale contentment and exhale instability. Inhale joy and exhale anxiety and depression. And before we leave, just think of one word that you want to leave with today on that inhale. Something that you'll hold on to for the rest of this day. From here, let's slowly awaken our bodies. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Bring those feet to the mat. And if you're ready, you can shake your head no a couple times. And rolling over onto your left side when you're ready. And slowly bring your body back up into a seated posture. So we'll just end our session today with a big thank you for joining us today. I hope you all well. I wish you nothing but peace to reign in you, peace to reign around you, and peace to be fed through you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Namaste.